First Watch now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Happy New Year, everyone.
So let's talk about wrestling to kick things off.
Wow, we've had a great season. You know, the winter sports at Buena are doing really well. Shout out to basketball. They're number one. The boys is ranked number one in the state in Division II. Kudos to them. Went to one of their games the other day. Soccer, boys and girls doing well. I mean, just a lot of good things going on in Buena. But wrestling, which is a high-risk sport for COVID, we got canceled for senior night on Wednesday. And then we were canceled for a tournament for today. It was a 2-day tournament up in Phoenix. So, yeah, it's been really tough for us. And when you put a team, you stand them up ready to compete, and then, we're canceled. All because of COVID. So we got a few weeks left. We're trying to get a senior night. A lot of people have asked me. We're trying to get that rescheduled. Our athletic director at Buena, Mr. Ducey, is working on that. Again, it is what it is. We're dealing with the unexpected. But overall, we're doing really well. I mean, one of the top teams in Southern Arizona. We won 20 dual matches, only lost 4. I mean, we're doing really well. So, and we're a high-populated senior team. We got a lot of seniors on the team, and so we'll get them in the sectionals. We'll get them in the state. Hopefully that's not canceled. But if it is, it is. I mean, I can't do a whole lot about it. But bottom line is I'm impressed with our wrestling team this year, both the boys and the girls. We had the girls in Greenway High School last weekend, and they're doing really well too. So, again, 2 very talented wrestling teams, boys and girls, and we'll keep pushing them down the road.
And pay attention to your sports, your local sports. I mean,
Yes.
Regardless of where you're at, I think it's just a huge boost for the kids, if it's kids, for whether they're high school or college, even T-ball. Make sure that you support this and give them, a shout out whenever you see them. Just be super supportive. I mean, look at the craziness against the Bama and Georgia Dog game. Hoo-hoo, talk about some interesting times. But Georgia pulled it off. And, man, that's what you call a fan base.
And it's so important. It truly is. That was. And kudos to Georgia. I want to pull her pop on that. I got to collect on that yet. But the bottom line is you're right. And I went to the basketball game the other night, and it's just not the fan base that was there. And I get it. People don't want to come out possibly because of COVID. But that gym at Buena is huge. Our wrestling meet, we had a pretty decent amount of fans there. But we got to support our young people that are going out there and giving it their all. And I continue to say that, and will continue to say it, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, wrestling, track, whatever the sport is. Come out and support your young people, and it's actually fun to watch, too.
Well, we're starting to get into budget season, so we're going to be talking about money from time to time. Let's start off with some money we've gotten from the state.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. We just got 3 contracts in from the state, and this is through conversations, relationships, proposals submitted to the state. The state has really stepped up. I want to give a shout-out to Becky Nutt, who helped us work on this. I know she's resigned, but Becky Nutt, Gail Griffin, and Dave Gowan, and then the folks, the members from the House and Senate, and then also Governor Ducey. We've done very well. We just got almost $5 million worth of grants in, and that is to cover purchase of vehicles, transport vehicles in our jail. It also covers 5 more positions for the sheriff's office, 100% funded for the next 4 years to bring more manpower in to address border issues. The federal government has a program like that, but they pay 75% the first year, 50% second year, third year, 25%, and fourth year, you take it all on. In this case, it's 100% funded through the state. One thing I've made a comment is Cochise County, we don't have the budget to start doing in-kind matches, which means we pick up some of the funding. So the governor and the state said, we're taking care of you, Sheriff. We know you're right on the border. So they are doing that, plus a whole bunch of equipment to address what we feel are important. Again, if we don't have the cars to get to the border, we're in trouble. We don't have cars to get to the private lands, the calls for service, we're in trouble. So, again, a shout-out to our state leadership, a shout-out to Governor Ducey for actually just stepping up and saying, what do you need, Sheriff? So that goes in front of our Board of Supervisors on January 25th for their approval, and we'll keep up the fight on this.
And you also have a 4th grant, which is $833,000, which is going to help with the jail costs. In addition to the first group, there's going to be a jail transport van, but then there's another grant that we're receiving to help cover jail cost reimbursements for overtime and jail expenses.
To give you an idea of the impact, from July 1 of this year, 2021, to December 31st of 2021, just border-related bookings. These are border-related crimes. The cost was over $800,000. I think it was $833 to be exact. That is a lot of money that we did not anticipate in our budget. So, and then our overtime, both in patrol and in the jail. And let's talk about COVID for a minute. I mean, I got a lot. What's the number? You have the last number on that, Carol?
Right. So, Wilcox jail is closed because of staffing issues, and in the Bisbee jail, it's 10 of our employees have tested positive.
So they're off the job right now, which it's not like we have a plethora of employees out there, team members. So the governor has agreed to pay back our overtime and the costs at our jail that are border related. So that's and we just got a contract on that 2 days ago. So that'll be coming in front of the board too. So again, when I say the governor's stepping up on this, he is. Plus we're working on some innovative plans. One of the things we're trying to work with, and he's approved the funding on this, is to have a operation center for Southern Arizona. And that is a center that can work on intel, which the National Sheriff Association has agreed to support that and staff that. For our camera system, our virtual system that runs from here all the way to California, it'll control that. Our specialty teams, our financial crimes team, our 14 law enforcement partners that work with us to work collectively in one center, a one-stop shop for border security. So we have located a facility, 2 of them actually, and the governor has approved that, so we're moving forward to have that facility, which will be purchased by the state, and then we'll run that as an operational center for working border interdiction.
And while you were in Phoenix earlier in the week, you were working on some bills to include parity pay for officers.
Yes. One thing and I was in another meeting this morning, I had a very good talk with Governor Ducey. But one thing, and if you heard the governor's state of the state, his number one priority, which was no shock to anybody because he says it every year, is public safety is a priority in the state of Arizona for this governor. And he says it every year, and I always applaud him for that. This year he added on that he wants to make the troopers the number one paid in the state law enforcement agency. And I commend our men and women troopers out there. But when it comes to parity, we in rural counties, the 12 rural counties, I mean, that's a huge challenge to keep in a competitive market. We're already seeing what the Valley's doing in Maricopa, what Tucson's doing, and we're falling behind quickly, even though we felt pretty competitive. Even in my annual message, I talk about that. But if we have to prepare for this, the Arizona Sheriff Association submitted a bill for parity within 5% of respective counties. So we talked to the governor about that, and the governor even said the last thing I want to do is get in a bidding war, a price war for talent within local, taking our homegrown law enforcement officers out of here and put them into DPS. So he's working with the sheriffs. We met with Senate leadership, House leadership. I didn't leave Phoenix till about 8:30 that night. It was a long, long day, but we shared our concerns. Let's face it, rural communities don't have the tax base that Maricopa or Pima or Pinal has. So how do we supplement that, offset that? But in the meantime, we'll continue to push forward to find that parity. We got some talented men and women that work for the Sheriff's Department, whether it be corrections, whether it be in the patrol or support, or just our volunteers that are out there every day. And so we have to hold on to them. But right now, the way it stands, whether you work service to PD, Sheriff's Office, or any of the local agencies here, you can go to DPS and almost double your salary right now. So I got to be doing everything right to hold on to this talent I have.
And speaking of the jail, there might be some changes coming in the jail.
There are. I think we all realize in this county, I don't think it's any secret anymore, that our jail is 4 decades old. It's 2 times the life expectancy of a jail. They last about 20 years. So we've outlived it in all areas, both in modern-day facilities to include infrastructure concerns. So we're in the process of looking to reroute our inmates until we can get this worked out, until we can get back into the communities, figure out how we're going to solve this. We need to build a new jail. and that's what the experts. So we need to look at how we do that. That's going to take a few years, no doubt about it. So I'm working with my fellow sheriffs, working with Department of Corrections, looking inside the county here with our county administrator, Ms. English, our board chair. We're working with some pretty good solutions. We'll be reporting back on the 25th of January to some solutions, but there are going to be some challenges and changes there. It's something we didn't expect, but it's something we need to address, and something we've been doing for 9 years since I've been sheriff, but it's at a point now where the facility's actually dictating what we do a little bit.
And, we are fortunate to have the people working there that we have. The men and women who work in detention. I'll tell you, just that's a job. It's tough, and it's just not for everybody.
Well, it's not, and it is. And to give you an example, we had an inmate the other day in a cell. The female officer went in to remove him from the cell, to take him to an appointment. As she's walking in the cell, he took toilet water, and I won't go any more detail than that, and threw it in her face. Now think about that. I mean, our detention officers make just under $38,000 a year. I mean, not many people are signing up to do that job. I think, so I, like you say, Carol, and your son's a sergeant with us at the jail down there and does an awesome job. Bottom line is, we need talented people like that working in our jail. It's truly a community service, but it's a tough one, and we need to pay them. We need to pay them in a competitive salary.
And you've been busy all week with meetings. And
Boy,
so one of the meetings was just meeting with the Sheriff's Assist team, and they had their annual briefing with you. And I'll tell you, those people, they're amazing as well.
They truly are. And most of our volunteers have already lived a life of profession and experience. And they're older in nature, most of them are. But let me tell you, the most passionate people you'll ever come across. They smile. I can't remember last time I got a complaint from our Sheriff's Assist team. They do. They do an amazing job. It was a nice meeting. I met from Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it was this week, for a couple hours. We talked about where we've been, where we want to go. They put like 9,000 hours, volunteer hours, for the Sheriff's Office, and a lot of that's coming from veteran escorts, where they actually escort our veterans who have passed to their final resting place. So I can't say enough about what they do. Commander John Black and Deputy Commander Steve Ziegler. John's a retired colonel from Fort Chuka. That's where he retired out of. Steve's a retired police chief from back east. I mean, just so much talent within that organization. So, and this is a time of the year I meet with all our employees. So within the next month and a half, I'll be meeting with all our employees and talking about my annual message that we just put out to include where we want to go in 2020-22.
And they don't complain because you pay them so well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. We all know, and let me just be the first to say it. I'm not saying we're going to be the highest paid in the state. We'll never see that pinnacle. But we need to pay them competitively. And we need to stay within a market that keeps our homegrown right here. At the day we give that up, we're going to become a training facility for other agencies. And that's the worst case scenario, because also you absorb that liability and vulnerability. And I won't change. Somebody say this to me the other day, Sheriff, you need to lower your standards of hiring. I refuse to do that. The day we lower our standards is the day I open up Cochise County to be a liability tank for any lawyer that wants to come in and sue us. We're not going to do that. We'll continue to do what's right and hire the best.
Coming up next month is a fun event. It's Cars for Kids.
It's actually April, the first Saturday in April. I think it's April 2nd. I guess it's bad I don't know that.
That's okay. I thought it was next month. So
yeah. You notice I polished over that statement. On
you did.
You openly admitted your fault. So it's Cars for Kids. It's a fraternal order of police. We do this for Boys and Girls Club to help support their program. Jay and the team over there, and all the kids that go there, all the kiddos. And then we also work with Hobby Lobby and Cal Ranch. Last year it was the first time we have an agreement with them for the next 5 years to be over at Cal Ranch and Hobby Lobby, and we're looking at 300 cars this year. But the best part about it is when you hand a check over to Boys and Girls Club and say, here you go. And it's a direct check to their programs over there and helping them whatever their needs are. But I want to thank the community that supports. Our community outreach, Corporal Ray McNeely and I have been hitting the streets and talking to businesses. And we've got 2 hours here. We hit the window, we jump in a car, and we go out and talk to the businesses, getting support for that. And we thank all those businesses, because this is a 100% debt-free show, which means there's not one expense. I don't pay bills at the end of the show. $1 is given, $1 goes into the fundraiser. So it's exciting about that. So if you want to give for Cars for Kids, let us know. Get a hold of me at the Sheriff's Office, and love to take your money. I'll just say that.
And you've been working hard on other stuff, including the border. So you have a lot of things that we roll into the border update every week. So people have asked about things like the fence. So what is the update on the fence?
I got a call a week before Christmas from Secretary Mayorkas, who wanted to update me. They are going to take, I think it's Del Rio, Tucson sector, which includes us, and Yuma, and they're going to finish the gaps, which means the holes in the fence that weren't completed. Some of the infrastructure, the roads, they're not building beyond what was anticipated or agreed upon initially. They're just going to fix some things, which I call that, at least they're concluding. It's in disarray right now, so they're putting some coordination back into this. What this is going to look like at the end, I don't know. So again, I commend that thought, because we need to conclude that, at least in a reasonable fashion, because you're dealing with taxpayer money. I also would share out some stats here from our camera system from 2021. I just got these the other day too. On our camera system, for the illegal encounters, we had 43,229. 51 drug mules. These are people smuggling drugs into our communities, and over 800 pounds of illicit drug. We have about a 39% apprehension rate, so 61% get away, and that's with our partners too. So again, it's a complete challenge. And I just want to throw this one up there too. We're getting between 900 and 1,000 cars a month coming into Cochise County, and you think, oh, it's like an Uber driver. No, these are people most of them have criminal records. Most of them are impaired. A lot of them are armed. They're coming into Cochise County to pick up the illegals, and I'm just saying this to you. That's keeping us busy. That's a lot of, and I'm just going to say, undesirables coming to our county as part of the cartels to pick up these people. And they don't care about my citizens here. They don't care about you, our guests. The bottom line is they're here to pick up and commit what I call a criminal enterprise with the cartels.
And that leads sometimes to pursuit, which is also a hot topic right now.
Yeah, it's part of my safety message. And we just had a recent pursuit here where it really got some headlines. We're seeing them every day. I mean, we're seeing pursuits all day long from one end of the county to the west end of the county. But we had one the other day. Border Patrol and the sheriff's deputies went to stop him. The smuggler took off 120 miles an hour coming down 92. Service to PD opened up the intersections just so we don't get anybody killed. I've said it. We've already had that happen in our county, sad to say. But they opened the intersection for a reason. The car went by me, went down into the Target parking lot. This is like 7, 8 o'clock at night. In the Target parking lot where people are shopping with carts and everything else coming out. Shot through the parking lot, headed up, ended up spiking them up in Whetstone area, ended up getting 3 of the illegals, but the driver got away. This is a huge concern. If you see emergency lights, and this is what I'm hearing all over the community too, all over the county, is the fact that they're seeing so much smuggling like that, whether they see them getting picked up, whether they see them being chased by the cops, that if you see lights, emergency lights, pull over. Please pull over. It's for your safety you do that right now, because we already are weighing the risk of the pursuit versus community, and that's a tough one too. And this car was driving into oncoming traffic, into people. I mean, this is scary stuff. We are truly dealing with something we haven't seen in years and years. Back in the 90s, we had some of this, a taste of this, but this is becoming a normal event every day, and to me, that's scary.
Well, let's talk about the Governor Ducey and Senate meeting.
Once again, Governor Ducey has prioritized the border. And we're going to talk more about this, Grady. In February, we're hoping first week in February, we're setting up community meetings with Brian McIntyre, our county attorney, my office and team, and our border team, and the Border Patrol. We're looking to come in, Mike Hyatt and his team. We're going to meet with the community. We're going to have 3 outreach meetings right now, one in the Hereford area, down by one of the schools. We're going to go over to Sunsight, middle of the county in the valley over there, and we're going to do one up north, probably in Benson area. So the community can come in. We're going to use, we're looking to use school gyms to give a little more distance, social distance, but also we can allow more capacity. But we want to tell the public what is going on. What is the governor doing? What is the sheriff's office doing? What can and can't we do? That's why our legal team will be there too, from the county attorney's office and Brian. What is Brian's office? What are they enduring with this? And I think most people will be very surprised the amount of work and the amount of caseload they've absorbed as a result of this border. And go through these stats with you. And in a way, I'm very proud of what we're doing, but I wish I could tell you we have it solved. We don't. So that's coming up. I'm going to save a lot of that for that. But Governor Ducey has been 100% behind us on this. And the governor and I always get along? Of course not. We've disagreed on many things over the years. But when it comes to stepping up, and he has denied one thing I've asked for border, like we talked a minute ago with Carol, when it comes to just the funding and coming to operation equipment. And number one, a message of support. That's important. I say this, and I said this morning to, a couple of days ago on a radio show up in Phoenix, that the element of success comes when local, state, and federal collectively share a message, share an action plan, and they're supporting the rule of law. If we can do that in this state, we'll be down the road. But right now, we're missing an element called the federal government's leadership, because they would not share an action plan, they would not share a message. I hate to say it like that, but we have tried. I was in a meeting on December 28th, and one of the health experts said this. That's helping with those coming across the board. Said to one of the high-ranking subjects from DHS, when are you going to share an action plan with us? And they couldn't provide an answer. So it's frustrating that way. It truly is, because I want to make sure I have these answers for the public. And if I don't have them, who does? I mean, so again, we'll keep up this. We'll keep up the hope and keep going on the road. And please, we'll put more out on our meetings coming up. And in fact, I'm going to see if the governor's office can even come down for these meetings once we get them posted.
And so speaking of statistics, this is the first show that we've had this year. So you have statistics for our organization.
We do. I don't have all of them. I want to hold off on that for just a minute. I know you, but like, look at the records department. How many public records requests did we get? These are requests where people want a police report or want something more than that. How many did we get this year?
1,786.
How many staff you got doing that?
Probably 6.
I was going to say 5.
Yes.
So 6 people, and that doesn't exclude their normal job.
That's right.
This is a supplemental duty they have to do. 1,700 public records requests, which means you got to prepare them, make the notification, have them come in and review them or pick them up. And so it just shows you the amount of work that's going on. And so hopefully here next bite, I'll have all the stats for you all when it comes to how many calls do we handle for service, how many do we book in our jail. I want to get that out to the public too. So that'll be coming up, because I want to make sure it's complete when I give it to you all. I got a few of them, but I want to make sure it's complete.
Okay, and your community message. Instead of a safety message, rolling it into a community message.
I want to hit on a traffic stop first. I'd be remiss. I thought of one. I know I was going to bring this up, but I stopped a car the other day. It was 11 o'clock at night, and you're probably saying, why is your sheriff out at 11 o'clock at night? It's so cold. But no, I'm actually out there at 11 o'clock at night. But stopped the car for going 23 miles over the speed limit. Walked up. This is coming from the border, coming north on 92 out of the Hereford area. 19-year-old driver from Phoenix, 16-year-old passenger from Phoenix, both high school kids out of a high school in Phoenix, and they were down here picking up illegals. And what's sad about that, another 16-year-old kid was orchestrating the pickup. And they get they were telling me this, they get $1,000 per head, per individual. So they were picking up 3 or 4, that's $4,000. So you see how lucrative. But my point on that is, and going back to the consequences, I wrote the 19-year-old, charged him for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. That goes back to enforcing the rule of law, enforcing state law the best I can. The illegals were not picked up. What happened was they saw a Border Patrol car. They spooked. That's why they're coming up. Saw me. Unfortunately, I already got them on speed and stopped them. And both kids were like, we should never got involved in this. Of course not. But they also made a comment I think is telling. They said that throughout their high school in Phoenix, everybody's talking about doing this. They're coming to Cochise County and picking up illegals. So we talked for a while, and he goes, oh, man, I can't believe I'm getting charged. Yeah, because if you don't charge them, there's no consequences. They're coming back the next day. So, again, that's my traffic stop of the week. There was consequences applied at the state level. Border Patrol couldn't do anything because they had not picked up. So, again, it just goes to see what we're seeing. We've had 2 16-year-olds that have committed negligent homicide by running from the cops and then killing people. So in our jail right now that are remanded, you just see the impact of our young people. So I want to say that. I also want to conclude with the message being a new year, and that is don't give up hope. be vocal. Tell us what you're thinking. We want to hear from you as citizens, but we got to get down the road together. We got to be optimistic, and we got to support our choices. I'm big into that, but we also got to respect each other, and that's something we've said. And Carol, Grady, and I, we've all said that is we got to be respectful of each other, even when we disagree. There's people who disagree with me. I respect that, but my oath of office says my job is to enhance that quality of life, keep you safe, and protect you. And we'll continue doing that. So please share that message along. And but if something I can do as a sheriff, I have an open invitation. Call me anytime, and we'll make 2022 hopefully a better, healthier, and safer year.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Grady, thank you. Carol, thank you. And thank you for what you guys do. Thank SSVC for, again, re-upping our subscription, if you want to call it, to be here for another year and get the community message out to y'all.
First Watch brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back, Cochise County. If you're driving to work, please stay safe out there.
We've got a special program. Jackie Clay was supposed to join us today, but in the end could not make it. So we're going to try to share her information for her, but we can't do it with that same passion she has.
I know. See, that's the thing. No matter what, there is no way I'm going to be a Jackie Clay.
Right.
Not even in 5 lifetimes, because she has so much energy. But we didn't want to skip out on the important information that she had to give to everybody about an event that's coming next Friday. And so that is going to be Recharge, Engage, and Innovate. It's the 5th annual conference that she has put on. And I'm telling you, it's one way to get out there and see all of the energy in a room. You think that she has energy. Man, you put all these other people in there, forget it. It almost blows the roof off. And so we're talking, it's the Cochise County School Superintendent's 2022 Innovations in Education Conference, where you recharge, engage, and innovate for community, students, and educators.
So you don't have to be a teacher to go to this. If you're a parent or you're just a member of the community who's interested, you could go to this conference, and it's only $40.
It is. And so Ms. Clay says, she sends out a message to everybody welcoming you to attend the 5th Annual Innovations Education Conference. And she wants to make sure that everyone knows it aims to unite community members, educators, and academic staff to recharge, engage, and innovate. And she appreciates everybody for joining them to take a wellness day while having fun, developing relationships, and learning together as a county. Again, knowing that everybody is challenged due to COVID, everybody's worked together and made sure that they could come together in this type of atmosphere, so that the storms are the glues that bind us as a community, as a family. And she says, as parents, family, and community members, we've met the challenges of co-teaching duties with our teachers. And as co-teachers, you, being all of you out there, also deserve some of the me time with your peers to learn best practices and new educational strategies to help the students succeed. But remember, we can't take care of students unless we take care of ourselves.
Well, let's talk about what's going to be happening next Friday. It starts at 8 a.m. for the pre-conference. That's where registration goes. Then the opening remarks at 8:45. The keynote speaker is going to be Randy Youngblood. His topic is going to be, why don't people just do what they're supposed to, and what can we do about it? Then there's going to be some housekeeping items, but then session 1 starts at 9:30, and I'm going to give you a few of the topics that they're going to be going over. Money moves, financial literacy. They've got you can't have rigor without relationships. Session 2 has they've got discovery, education, transformative tools for a future-ready classroom. They've even got some yoga stuff going on throughout the day. At session 3, are you enough? Self-care is not selfish. That's a good one. I like that. Tools for teachers, and see session 4. They've got plants as metaphors for personality traits. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, you have to go just to see what that is.
What is that? Sounds fun. Citizen science, remembering why. Then they've got substance abuse prevention in the classroom. So there's just so many topics that you're going to learn over this one-day conference. Plus, it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone.
And they also have a lot of sponsors here helping. So Benson Hospital, Cochise College, Nova Home Loans, Arizona Department of Education, the American Southwest Credit Union, the Sheriff's Office, Copper Queen Hospital, The Kind, company, so being kind to people. Also have Cochise ESA, Cochise Education Foundation, New Crossroads Academy, can't forget that one because that's good. Grad Solutions, obviously Cochise College, I might have said that already, Best Western, Chiricahua, the Legacy Foundation, doing so much for all of our community, and Pioneer Title.
So how do we get tickets for this event next Friday?
So you can go to the website, the school superintendent's website, and that would probably be the easiest way because there's some links there that you can click on. You can do in person or you can do it virtually. So again, there's going to be exhibits at Cochise College. You want to go it starts at 8 o'clock, so pre-registration starts at 7:30 if you're just going to go there in person, but try to do your registration prior to that. And again, you can do it virtually or in person. So 28 sessions, 28 different things that you can do, and it's a day-long thing. They have lunch there, so make sure you join in and take a look at Cochise County School Superintendent's website.
And Jackie Clay, we missed having you here this morning, and I hope we did you justice.
We hope so. We hope so. I don't know. It's just hard footsteps.
Who do we have coming in next, Carol?
We have Miss Anna Lucor.
7:38 at KWCD Country. First Watch brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Campus and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Campus, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Well, welcome back, Cochise County. We have Anna Lucor, and she is from the Children's Ranch. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming today, Anna.
Thank you for having me, Carol. I appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I'm CEO of All the King's Horses Children's Ranch in Benson, Arizona. And what we have on the ranch are homes where we take in children who have been let's say, neglected and abused by those that they're supposed to be caring for these children, so family members. And we take placements from either the court system when the children are adjudicated, which means they're in the court system through no fault of their own. They're now wards of the state because the parents are going through whatever they need to do to get the children back. We also take children from the tribes and also from private placements.
And so you do that. Do you have schooling at your location, or do you just help them integrate into a more normal lifestyle?
Right. That's where we're at. So our homes are set up by a family setting. And so we have a mother and a father, a husband and wife that come into the homes, and then they just interact in front of the children. That's the first thing, because the children don't know how the adults that are caring for them should behave one with another. And so from there, yes, as much as is possible with the emotional trauma is the big deal, because when we get them, they're traumatized. And so to just let them know that we're people they can trust. But we have had an impact. I think we've helped over 200 children so far since we've been established. And we have a very good relationship with all the officials around us, and DES and the Sheriff's Office and so on.
So you have kids in your care, and then after, do they progress through a system where you have them for a certain amount of time and then they go somewhere else?
Yes, especially the adjudicated children, because it's their plan is reviewed every 6 months by the courts, and the judge determines what progression will take place. So visitations with the parents begin to take place to see if the plan is going to be reunification or I forget the word, where the parents are no longer involved with the children.
Okay.
So we've been very happy to do this work, but what we are needing are house parents. It's a hard job. It's a salaried position, and there's a lot of support on the ranch. For instance, I live there, and so I'm the on-site grandmother, which I like. So if anybody is interested in taking a tour or coming to see us, we are on a website, childrensranch.org, and that's in Benson.
Is there any other way that the community can help you?
Well, always funds. We are supported by donations, so yes, for sure. That's why we encourage tours, so that people can see exactly where their money's going and what it's doing.
And they can do that at that same website? They can donate there?
Yes, they can.
All right, give us that website one more time.
It's childrensranch.org.
And thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.
And Carol, who are we having in next?
We have retired Judge James Conalog, and he's going to talk about the cable group.
KWCD Country with First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
We have Judge Conalog, so welcome. Thank you so much for being here today, and we're so excited to have you and to talk about a new program.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. And I'm retired.
Yes.
I was a judge, a Superior Court judge for 26 years here in Cochise County. Last eight of those years as the presiding judge. And one of the things that I'm involved in now is CABLE. And CABLE stands for Community Advisory Board with Law Enforcement. And we see that as the connection between law enforcement and the community in Cochise County. So that's one of the things that I would like to talk about here this morning.
And how many members do you have?
We have, including me, we have 12. And we have other folks that come from time to time. And our meetings also include law enforcement officers throughout the county.
And I know that at first you guys were trying to figure out what you were going to do, but I think you've kind of landed of what CABLE is going to be performing. So tell us about that.
Our mission is to build strong relationships with mutual trust between law enforcement and Cochise County residents. That's our mission, and everything kind of flows from that. Our communication is our primary function, and this is an advisory board. There are a lot of things that we don't do. It's not a citizen review board, and we don't get involved in any kind of discipline or of officers or recommending anything along those lines. Our role is to provide advice and to also to make sure that we have representation from the community when decisions are being made by law enforcement. And we bring items to the attention of law enforcement from time to time, and just have a conversation, and that's a lot of what we do. We are working on a website. It's under construction, and we should be more accessible. At that point, you can see more about us, and we encourage anybody from the community to talk to our members. We also have an email which is open to anybody. It's CochesCable at gmail.com. And our members are myself, Ernie Garcia, John Ladd, Gene Post, Sherry Ethel, Mayor Hewish from Douglas, Eric Peterman, Tony Isom, Darren Crosley, Jackie Clay, Bill Barlow, and Ben Reyna Jr. And many of you probably know those people. And we are always open for any information that you have related to law enforcement, and we can pass that along. We very much want to remain positive in what we do and constructive. And one of the things that we have started is to publish a newsletter, and really appreciative of Whip Communication for allowing that to happen. And it just is information about law enforcement, maybe something a little bit more about a particular officer or agency that you may not otherwise see in the newspaper. So that's primarily what we're doing.
And so when you came together with this group, I mean, it was we wanted to pull together as many community members as we could. They were the names were put forth by the different public safety agencies, and then they were vetted, and then it came up with the 12.
Correct.
And so now, ultimately, you may have a process for your group to induct new members into it.
Sure, and there may be some members that want to move on, and we want to have somebody else come in. And we're actually looking for a member right now. We had a very strong member from the behavioral health community that had got a new job and moved from the area. And I've asked a number of people and haven't found anybody. So certainly if there is somebody from the behavioral health, mental health service provider community that would be interested in something like this, I would love to hear from you. And again, fairly easy to remember, coachescable@gmail.com. But if you know me, I'm pretty easy to find as well. But good point. And yeah, if we were able to find somebody that was willing to do that, then we would go through a process and they would become a member of our group.
And so you meet once a month?
Once a month, on the third Tuesday of the month, and pretty regular. And we have our cable members, and we have members of the law enforcement community that we meet with regularly.
And also, getting information out is important to all law enforcement, but also countering misinformation.
Correct. And that's one of the things that we really want to try to work on. And I can give you an example, and this is just one that I really wanted to try to get the proper information out, but we didn't have the ability at that time, and we're working toward that. But it actually was a vehicle pursuit, and it involved the local agency. And the information that went out was that the law enforcement agency continued to pursue this vehicle until it was involved in a very horrific accident. Well, that really wasn't true. There was an initial contact, but any kind of chase was broken off well before any incident, and it didn't have anything to do with the law enforcement pursuit. And it's things along those lines that we really want to try to get the good information out to people, and people can do with it what they will. But we want to be factual, and we also want to be positive.
And so in that instance, and with this group, I think one of the important things is you're not affiliated with a public safety agency per se, but you are the advisory board, and you have people that are members that are in various places through the community. You have a rancher, you have a retired judge, you have a business person, well, a couple of them, but one who owns his business, you have a realtor, so people, and you have a mayor. You have people who have their fingers in their communities and their voices, which is important.
Correct, and that's really how we see ourselves. We want to try to be available to the community and also have that continuing conversation with law enforcement. And in terms of things that we're not, it talked about we're not a review board. We're also not cheerleaders. We're there to give advice, and just telling somebody what they want to hear and whatever they do is good is not necessarily advice. So we have some candid conversations. One of the things that I found interesting is sometimes there's disagreement between the law enforcement agencies about particular things. And so it seems to me, at least, that there is that give and take even between the agencies during some of our meetings, and I find that very good.
So as a community member that's listening right now, how can they get a hold of of cable to maybe voice something about law enforcement or give a suggestion, or, I mean, that's what you're looking for from the community, correct?
Sure. Well, if you know one of the members, or if you see me at the grocery store or something like that, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, but yeah, if you see me, I'm open. Let me know. Wave to me. I'll come over. We'll talk about it, and I'll go forward with that. Also, I monitor that email address, coachescable@gmail.com. If you have something that you want to bring up, please do. And there have been a number of instances where I've just been talking to somebody and they raise an issue about law enforcement, and I'm thinking, that doesn't really sound right. And I bring that forward. This is a small example, but it's one that came into mind. I was talking with a family member of a Border Patrol agent, and they were very concerned because that family member felt like that the agency was not allowing their agents to get vaccinated. And I thought, that doesn't sound right. And so I said, I'm going to call the agent in charge of the station. It just got kind of a quizzical look. But that's exactly what I did. Got the information and then followed through. And so things like that. But it can, misinformation or that partial information can be very frustrating and difficult. And that's something we can do.
Well, I know you're building your website, so go ahead and throw out that email address one more time before you go.
Sure. coachescable@gmail.com.
And Judge, we thank you for coming and talking to us today about cable.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Have a good day.
And how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office, Carol?
You can reach us at our webpage, coaches.az.gov/sheriff, and we have links there for our social media. So we have our Facebook at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. That also has a link to our Twitter account at CC_Sheriff, and still working on a few hiccups with our Instagram, but you can follow us on Instagram, and our YouTube channel should be coming.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.